The next person we've got is quite dear to my heart, actually, because the three things that you need to know about Jakub is that I think he was the second ever pro elephant rider. And a pro elephant rider, for those of you who aren't aware, is a certified facilitator in our community, and he was the second ever, and actually helped me co-create the program in a sense, because he invited me to present at the Agile meetup in 2018 potentially, and I remember walking out the door of the building. I can't remember the building, but I remember walking out the door of the building, and he said, "Have you heard of Management 3.0? And some of you might have heard of Management 3.0. I hadn't at the time. And I said I hadn't, and I said I'm going to home immediately, or to the hotel, to Google it, and I did. And that became a real inspiration for how I've subsequently designed the Pro Rider program, and then Jakub became one of the core people to go through it at the start. The second thing that you should, or need to know about Jakub is that he's a fan of a fellow called Benjamin Zander, who's an author of a book called The Art of Possibility, which is a really beautiful book, and it's one of my favorites and my wife's favorites as well. And I think it is rule number 13, which is don't take yourself too seriously. My wife tells me that a lot. And then the third thing you should know about Jakub is that he continues to be a massive inspiration to me and the ECD community, because the work he's doing has been real trailblazing in this. He was the first guy to give me the confidence that this game could be used in a corporate of any significant size. And I'm really excited that you're still using the game in that way, and he's going to share some stories that have inspired me to continue to do the work we're doing. So, Jakub.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. I think I'm blushing, but maybe wine as well, so I don't know.
The fourth thing you should know is a fan of red wine.
I need third hand. Can you click for me? Yeah, cool. Right, hi. My name is Jakub, and I feel, right now I feel anxious, I think a bit paralyzed and hesitant. But I also feel joyful, grateful and courageous, and I feel that the positive emotions are stronger than the negative, so I think I can do it. Cool, yeah, all right. I'm going to share two stories with you. Kind of, I think, two significant stories for me. One is going to be how I use the deck with leaders, and I think that's how I most often use the deck now, or throughout the almost 3 years now. And second is how we use it with a group of 60 people to actually try at least change culture of 600. So I hope that this could be an inspiration for you, how you can use the deck as well. So we're going to start with a story. Yeah, cool, thank you. Oh, you're good at this. And we haven't dropped it, yeah. I want to start with a story of a confused leader. It starts with when I was at Air New Zealand, and I was an Agile coach over there. I was working with the digital team, or digital teams. But I was also the sustainability team that is not part of digital. The leader of that team reached out to the digital leadership and asked, "Hey, we heard you have these people, Agile coaches. Can someone help us?" And she had no idea what Agile was. Just heard that Agile coaches were cool. I was like, "Oh, nice." And I was new to the company, and I didn't have many teams at that time. So they asked, "Do you want to go and help them?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I did. They were on different level, and they didn't have much time. I didn't have much time. So we were meeting from time to time. But very quickly I realized how awesome that team was. They were really, really good team, really good individuals, very passionate about sustainability and helping New Zealand and Air New Zealand. But at the same time, they were very specialized. They had their own projects. They had their own thing that they were doing. And with time, I realized, thank you. If you look at this model, you can see that we can group teams depending on do they need each other and do they have a common goal. So with this team, yep, thank you. With this team, they had a common goal and they were aligned behind the mission strongly. They knew why they were there. They had strong motivation to achieve their mission, but they didn't really need each other, which means they were doing a lot of work individually. They didn't have a need to share, to collaborate. And when I was talking with the leader of that team, we talked that it was a shame that they didn't exchange more, that they didn't collaborate. So I thought, and that was maybe a month after we had the meetup, and I said, well, why don't we try this thing? I have these cards and I haven't tried it before. Do you want to give it a go? And she said, yeah, okay, let's give it a go. So we did, and that's them doing the first exercise, playing with the cards. And it was awesome. That was really amazing. And as I said, these people were amazing. So with the cards, it was like total awesomeness. And I remember to this day that the quote that, and I love repeating it. I'm sure, Jeremy, you heard it me saying like 10 times to you. One of these ladies, after the first exercise, she said that she could feel butterflies in her stomach, like by being so warm and so good with people around her, and she just started hugging everyone because she needed to share it with them. So that was the first exercise we did, and then we went to the second exercise. We did it with the canvas. That's only part of it. I didn't want to share the whole thing with you. But we did the canvas that Jeremy created, and we defined how do they want to feel as a team, and we started thinking, so how does it look in real life, and what actions did they want to take? And it was all great. And after this session, we started talking how did it go, and one person said, and I'll give you maybe a minute just to read this. That was from an email she sent after the session. So it was already a big win for that team. But as I said, this is going to be a story of a confused leader. Because after the workshop, I kept talking to the leader, and at some stage she said, well, we created this, we came up with these emotions that the team wanted to feel, but I want them to feel something else. I'm like, well, tell me more. And she said, well, I'm the leader, and I know that for them to grow and for them to succeed, I want them to feel a couple of other emotions as well. And I said, okay, they want to explore it. Yeah, okay, let's explore it. So then we used the second part of the deck. On the green cards you have the part for employees and you have part for leaders. So we use the part for leaders. And we sit together in a room for about 45 minutes. And she chose the top 5 emotions she wanted her people to feel, and 5 top emotions she absolutely didn't want her people to feel. And it was amazing, the whole experience, because some of the questions she was asking, for example, Jakub, tell me, what's the difference between open and open-minded? And I said, well, I'm not a native speaker, I don't know. You tell me. And well, it prompted her to think very deeply about some of the, and even this question showed me how reflective she was and how deeply she was concerned or not involved and or invested in choosing the right cards. So she did the exercise, and after she chose the emotions, I also used a tool that I think you may want to explore, which is called Clean Language, which is a coaching tool. And some of the questions I asked was, well, if you want your people to feel energized, what kind of energized is this energized? And when they are energized, then what happens? And when they are energized, they are like what? And it helped her just build this picture in her mind, how important it was for her and what it really meant for her. And after that, I asked her to fill in this leadership field guide, which also Jeremy created, and it's like a canvas for one person. And she did that, and we met a couple of weeks later. We went through some actions that she wanted to start doing, and she came up with like 15 different actions. And I said, no, I think that's too many. What do you think? And she said, well, okay. And she decided to take 3. Of course, she started almost all of them, but I kind of kept her accountable for 3, so I was checking in with her, how are you doing with these 3 things? And I could straight away start seeing the difference in the team and her behavior. And because she was so amazing, the team was so amazing, it was just easy. And I think the biggest joy for me was when she also, after one of our sessions, she sent this. And there was no bigger reward for me, how she could see that it was so much valuable for her. And all I did was just gave her the cards and said, do you want to play a game? So that's one story. Second story is a story of, oh no, you're right. No, I'm not done. That was good, thank you. I wanted to tell you a bit more about my journey with this leader, with other leaders, because with her it was very easy, but it's not always easy with leaders. And I found that, first of all, I often create this barrier in my head. It's not them it's not that they don't want to do it. I'm afraid that they may say no, or they may react in a way that I don't like. So I realized that I had to stop talking myself out of doing this. So one way to find a way to do it was, and I was just chatting to Lawrence and others about this, how invitation is important, to invite people to do this. Don't say, you need to do this, or even let's do this. It's like, I invite you. Would you like to do it? Would you like to be with me in this journey? And it changes the whole interaction. And because then when we invite them, they have a choice. They can say no, and it's okay. They say no, that's fine. But when they say yes, they are already engaged. They are already in. And then my work is just super easy. So I think invitation means engagement. And I think that's really important to remember. Okay, second story, sorry. Second story is another story that started, that happened there in New Zealand. It was a team effort. You can see all the people who are involved in designing the whole workshop or the whole program. So that was a program where at Digital in New Zealand, we kept hearing that the culture is not the same, or it's not what it used to be. And it became a mantra that everyone was repeating, it's not the same as it used to be. And we wanted to change it from looking what was in the past to looking what do we want to create in the future, and how we can start changing it. Not just leaders, not just us as coaches, but us as digital 600 people, or almost 700 people. So we designed a whole program that also started with invitation. So we invited people to come to a workshop, and we gave them a bit of a homework that they had to do before they were invited. So it was an effort they had to put in to be invited. And out of 600 people, about 60 decided to do it, and they went through about 4 hours of reading and watching and answering questions to go to the work, to be invited to the workshop. And they did the work, so they were invited, and there was 60 of them. And there were different parts of the workshop, but the main part was around emotional culture deck. But we decided, because of different constraints and different things we wanted to achieve, we decided to focus only on the black cards, because we wanted to focus on how we want to feel at work. And we had 60 people. We divided them in 6 teams, 10 people per table, and they started playing with the cards. And here you can see one example where they just they wanted to feel love at work, which was awesome. And each table came up with their own 5 emotions they wanted to feel. We got it together, and we ended up having, I think, 6 emotions as a whole kind of group that they wanted to feel. And from there, we used a canvas that we designed ourselves. And they are playing, no, you can go back. They are playing with the canvas here, so you can see that they are all kind of swarming the canvases on the table. And the next slide is with the canvas. So that's the canvas that Jeremy designed, but it's simplified because we didn't have time and we didn't really want them to go through the whole big canvas. So we designed a very simplified version of it. And every group got one emotion from the one that they chose. And they put the emotion in the middle, and then they were kind of going through, so how do you know when people feel this, and what are some of the undesired behaviors that are causing people, that might stop people from feeling this, and what are some of the things that we might want to do, and so what are some of the first steps. And then, go back. Thank you. And then you can see that they were sharing with everyone, and out of that, the whole group, 60 people, came up with experiments they wanted to try, so things they want to try with their teams. And after that, there was a whole kind of team behind it when you had weekly catch-ups with them, weekly stand-ups on Friday morning with people sharing how they were going with the experiments and what kind of support they needed and so on and so on. And for me, it was really important to show that you can run it with a large group of people. You don't have to run it with one person or a team of 10. You can run it with 60 people, like you said. And it can work. And actually, you can run it with 60 people on behalf of 600. And it can also work. And yeah, these are the awesome people who were in the workshop. So the key takeaways I would like you to take is invitation equals engagement. So remember to craft the invitation and think about this. How do you want to invite people? Second is that invite your leaders. They are crucial. It's very easy to think about that's at least what I seen in the community, in the market, that when people hear Agile coaches, they feel, well, they're going to facilitate our meetings, and that's it. And they forget how much work needs to be done with leaders. Because leaders shape the culture by their best behavior, and they also shape the culture by the worst behavior they accept as well. So it's all, how they behave shapes everything. And also remember that to invite your people, even if it feels like a lot, you can still do it. You could just design it in a bit different way, and create your own tools, like we did with the canvas. And you can do your own stuff. And this is one of the tools you can use. And yeah, cool. Oh, thank you.
Well, I think I hadn't heard Jakub share that story about your own discomfort, your own fear before, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot after coming across a fellow called Nir Eyal. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's written a book called Indistractable, and he talks about how at the core of procrastination is emotional discomfort. And I've been thinking about that term, emotional discomfort, a lot since then, and I just wrote down this quote. It could come from somebody else, but it's just come out of my pencil then. A leader's emotional discomfort can be a supercharger or a plague. I think if you can channel that discomfort, it becomes something powerful, but if you don't, it can become really toxic. So thanks for sharing that, mate, and just continuing to blow my mind with how this game can be used, and you gave me the confidence that it can be used in big organizations, so thank you. Yeah.